official opposition leader in the National Assembly. And remember, according to the NADCO report, which I think some of you may not be well versed, okay, I want to tell you that the NADCO report can be implemented within a day. They can call for a plenary session next week in Parliament, okay, and then they discuss this matter, they adopt it, then Ruto simply ratifies this, okay. Ruto can simply ratify this and it becomes law. It only goes to the referendum if members of Parliament fail to agree on certain contentious issues, all right? But as things stand today, Ruto has the majority. He has the majority in the National Assembly, okay? Members of the ODM party will always vote for this administration. If there's any bill, if there's any government bill, they will vote for it. They will vote for it. Only a few, maybe Babu and somebody else, might fail to appear on the voting day, but majority, about 99%, will be in Parliament to ratify this NADCO report, and it will become law. Okay, so we are just asking ourselves: is this arrangement put in place to ensure that Raila Odinga becomes the Prime Minister? Musalia Mudavadi today is not very vocal in the government. It's not as vocal as he used to be. Okay, Kindiki Kithure, when he walks next to Raila Odinga in a meeting where, let me just put it better, in the red carpet where where Kindiki and Ruto and Raila are involved, you will hardly see Kindiki walking on the red carpet. Okay, so Kindiki, as some commentators and political pundits have put it, is a flower girl. He is actually a flower girl. Those who are pulling strings in this government is Raila Odinga and William Ruto. All right, and somebody noted that the people who are opposed to this administration emanate from Mount Kenya. That it is those people who voted for Ruto, those who are aggravated by the removal of Gachagua, are the ones who are saying that Ruto must go. Today, the Gen Zs are divided. They are stratified along tribal lines. In June last year, they were telling their challengers, their critics, that we are tribeless, we are formless, we are leaderless. But today we see their leaders. We can see Caswell, we can see Morara, and all these other fellows. And one thing I want to underscore here is that politics is a game of interest. Okay, Caswell Marco Ubure, he joined ODM party with some vested interest. Okay, he is only wishing that he gets a position in this government. He is very much willing to take that position. Okay, we have seen a young man like Jacobs Fikrini Jacobs from Kilifi, being appointed to the position of PS, Sports and Youth Affairs. Is this meant to hoodwink the young people? So, the reality on the ground is that there are three groups of Kenyans. Kenyans have been stratified into three groups. Okay? And if you look at my social media handle, go to Facebook page and search GTR Owitowayo Kich, the same name I'm using here. I wrote a letter to Ndindi Nyoro yesterday. And I told Ndindi Nyoro that there are three categories of Kenyans. Okay? These three categories, they are fighting over niches, socioeconomic and political niches. They want positions, actually. They want to eat something. The first group insists that Ruto is a good president, that he should remain in power. Okay? There are not so many. But there is a group of Kenyans who believe that Ruto should be re-elected in the next election. Okay? There is also, these are people who are eating the national cake. They are the ones who are eating. Those who are supporting Ruto today, those who are saying that Ruto must win, or Ruto Tano Tena, are people are somewhat access to the medical services. You know, they are employed, they have salaries, they have pay slips, and they are very close to both Raila and Ruto. And so if they see you say that Ruto must go, they are wondering whether you are living in Kenya or somewhere else. There's also another group of Kenyans, and this group, there are so many, okay? They believe that Ruto is responsible for their unemployment, taxation, you know, prices of products, consumable products, okay? They are very convinced that Ruto is responsible for insecurity in the country, vis-a-vis abduction and what have you, okay? They believe that William Ruto is responsible for for the disquiet in the country, that he's not supposed to be seated there. He's supposed to be gone like yesterday. They are praying that Ruto dies yesterday. This group of people, okay, they want Ruto to go to Sugoi, that his journey should begin at State House and end in Sugoi, okay. There's another group of Kenyans. This group of Kenyans believe that William Ruto has already won the next election. They believe that William Ruto has already predetermined the outcome of the next election. They trust concisely that William Ruto has IEBC in his pocket. Okay? They believe that Ruto is a PhD and can never be defeated in an election. Okay? That Ruto is a PhD holder and has never lost any election. All right? And that he is holding a PhD in Moi tricks, the tricks that Moi was using during his 24-year-old reign. Okay? They are believing that William Ruto, in a contest, already he has access to the IBC servers with 4 million votes. So these people conclude that there is no need of even going to those long queues to vote, to cast their votes, because the outcome is predetermined. Okay. So I was telling Ndindi Nyoro in my letter to him, I wrote him a letter yesterday, you can go and read that letter on my Facebook page. I told Ndindi Nyoro that it is time he took a position. He cannot continue telling Kenyans about what is happening in Kiharu. Not all Kenyans live in Kiharu, okay? You are given the position of the National Budget and Appropriation Committee, all right? You are a national leader. If you remain silent during great crisis like what we had in June, and also during the Gachagwa's impeachment, if you don't take a position, there are those who will take that silence to mean betrayal. There are those who will be quick to equate it to betrayal. So I told Ndindi Nyoro that it is time he took a position. And most of this, if you look at these three categories of Kenyans, Kenyans expect him to belong to the second category. That category that insists that Ruto must go. And I'm talking about majority of those who emanate from Mount Kenya. They expect Ndindi Nyoro to pronounce himself on issues that bedevil the people of Mount Kenya, that he should be able to associate himself to their kind of politics. That the Kikuyu nation has actually been endangered by the Ruto Raila Dahlias or truce. So they want Ndindi Nyoro to belong to them. They want Ndindi Nyoro to belong to that category. I want to assure you here, those who are listening, because I'm about to finish this, that William Ruto is a schemer for William Ruto to be defeated in the next election. And I want to say this very honestly. My good brother Richard, you are here, and Wesu Yoma, you are also here. For William Ruto to be defeated in the next election, the opposition faction must cement itself. The opposition must cement itself to a point that it cannot be annihilated by Ruto's theatrics and tricks. Okay? If the opposition is going to be defeated in coming up with a candidate that is going to fly their flag or to be the flag bearer as early as possible so that they can start outsourcing for resources and friendship from across the country, this man from Sugoi will defeat them very early in the morning. And remember, using months who are demonstrating that you have actually rigged the elections, they will pause for some weeks. They will hold some is it called extravaganza? I don't know. At Uhuru Park. They will mourn these people for 2 weeks. So as they mourn, you organize on reparations. You indemnify them. You come up with a compensation program. So that, okay, and that you organize their burial. You compensate their families. So when you compensate those who are bereaved, you are seen as a benevolent dictator, and people will continue cheering you and clapping for you and nodding for you. So you end up ruling for 10 years just because you are able to manipulate minds. And that is art in some other way. It is art. If Wamunyoro and Matiang'i and all these other fellows will not unite to defeat the common enemy, they will be trounced. They will be defeated. They will be subdued. They will be minced. Thank you. God bless you. And unless there's someone who wants to say something, Engineer Richard, you want to say something, Wesoyoma? And I'm seeing 2 people are requesting here. There are 2 people requesting mic here. Maybe let me just give you some chance. You talk for a minute, and then we call it a day. I've spoken for about 10 minutes, I think so. And I have noted some very important points here. That the current president is a PhD, and he's not a PhD because he studied botany at the University of Nairobi. I don't think that Ruto, whenever he's boasting about his PhD, is referencing his botanical studies at the University of Nairobi, where myself I studied. I think he's referencing what he studied at the University of Moi, the Moi University of Politics, where you are taught how to, and then when they accuse you of fellow, you institute a commission of inquiry. It can be chaired by somebody who is from outside the country or within the country, but you are loyalist. So you show some benevolence, you evince some benevolence. You try to showcase and evince some benevolence so that people do not see your dictatorial tendencies, all right? These are Moi tricks. I think when he was referring to his PhD, he was not referring to the botany he studied at UN. He was referring to these Moi tricks. So somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka must not be shaky. He must not be wavy. Okay? When he sits down with the Kina Wamunyoro, whenever Ruto and whatever, whenever Kalonzo sits down with Wamunyoro and Matiang'i and all these other fellows in the opposition bandwagon, maybe he's just trying to collect what is called political clout. He's trying to collect political clout. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to tap the screen and following follow the host as well, and follow those speakers too. Because if you follow me here, next time I'm going live, you'll be notified about my presence here. When Kalonzo Musyoka sits down with Munyoro, his intention, his real intention, is to try and collect and gather some political warmth, so that Ruto, at his solitary position of coldness, he can actually be of great help. He can actually be invited. And as Aitwa, anasema bwana Kalonzo bwana, be my running mate. If Ruto, and I want to confirm to you this position, if Ruto will convince Kalonzo that he will be his running mate in the next election, if Ruto will be able to convince Kalonzo that he will be his running mate in the next election, Kalonzo will jettison that vehicle, that opposition, that Wamunyoro bandwagon very early in the morning. Okay? And Ruto can do this at the 11th hour. Remember, for Kalonzo to agree to support Raila Odinga for 3 consecutive times, for Kalonzo Musyoka to accept to deputize or to step down for Raila Odinga for 3 consecutive, in the 3 consecutive elections, okay, it tells you how manipulable Kalonzo is. I want you to underscore that. Okay, for Kalonzo Musyoka to accept to support Raila Odinga in the 3 consecutive elections, it tells you how manipulable he is. And William Ruto can use Raila Odinga because this could be a scheme. William Ruto could be using Raila Odinga to woo Kalonzo Musyoka at the 11th hour. So he will come at the 11th hour and tell Kalonzo, my brother, it is very unlikely that the Wamunyoro bandwagon is going to defeat William Ruto. And Ruto is offering you the 2nd position. You know, you'll be the 2nd in command. Because politics is a game of interest. Just like he did in 2008. Remember, Kalonzo was just picked by Mwai Kibaki at the 11th hour. He was with Raila Odinga up until election time. Okay? So when Kibaki dangled the VP position to Kalonzo, okay? When he dangled that DP position for Kalonzo, it was actually VP by that time because we were using the old constitution, the so-called independence constitution. So when he dangled that carrot, Kalonzo picked very fast. And that's how he became vice president for 5 years, 2008 to 2013. Okay? So if Ruto will do the same thing to Kalonzo Musyoka, that is how he will disorient the opposition. So the opposition is at Ruto's mercy. As things stand today, those of you who are reading what I write on my social media post, you can go to my Facebook page and just read. Don't just follow, just read. Just read and then you'll get to know. The current political dispensation in the country is what I can refer to as political bipedalism. We have a 2-legged opposition. Okay? We have a 2-legged opposition. One leg is actually in government. One leg is in government. And another leg is in Wamunyoro. This political bipedalism has prevented the possibility of Kenya experiencing what we call a 3-legged opposition. Okay, a 3-legged opposition here is where there are 2 factions pulling against each other, and then there's also another third faction. So this 3rd faction is what has been deemed. This is what has been deemed because it is no longer there. That's why you see in Morara Kebaso, you see them trying to fix themselves in either of the opposition. Okay? They try to appear as if they're in government or opposed to the government, and at the same time working with those who are actually in that government. Okay? So this is what the political bipedalism we express in the country has actually killed. So you are either with Ruto or with Wamunyoro. Eh? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this was so sweet. I want to thank you so much. May God bless you. Tomorrow we will have another session at exactly 2 p.m. Asanteni sana. God bless you, my brother Richard. God bless you, Westo Yoma.